Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria, and today we are going to talk about my February TBR, the books that I'm going to read in this short month of February that has robbed me of 3 freaking reading days. Curse you, weird short month. So on this list, I'm going to have 6 books, which is really, during the school year, that is like the tippy top of what I can probably read, and that's just if I put the pedal to the metal. Usually it's 5 in a 31-day month, so can I get to 6? Maybe. The good thing is none of them except for one is really long, so hopefully I'll be able to get through all 6, but let us see. So without wasting any more time,
let's get down to business.
Here are the books that I'm going to read in February. So first up, this is a holdover from last month, The Fifth Elephant by Terry Pratchett. This is book 5 in the City Watch series. I just didn't get to it last month, so it was on my last month TBR. There's not really anything else to say about it. Vimes, there's a diplomat assassinated, and he goes to Uberwald, which is kind of like the Transylvania of the Discworld. And so there, we get some Angua backstory. We get all these other like undead beasties and stuff. I remember not enjoying this particularly much. I think I gave this like B tier, solid B tier of my tier list that I just did. I don't know. Yeah, I think I put it in the B tier. So we'll see. I'm excited to see if I like this more on reread. So that's probably going to be the first book I read this month, because I didn't read a Pratchett last month, and I really am trying to read one Discworld book per month, just because they're wonderful palate cleansers, and they're hilarious, and they just bring great joy to everyone who reads them. So it's just, it's time we need some joy. And so I'm going to read Fifth Elephant first thing, probably with Katrina and Jay as well in my Discord. And so that'll be a great way to start off February. So next on the February TBR, we have Boosh, Sheep Farmer's Daughter by Elizabeth Moon. So I just talked about this book in my How video. My wonderful friend Evie sent this to me. So I wanted to do a buddy read with my patrons, and I wanted to do kind of something that isn't talked about a whole lot on BookTube, that we don't really hear a lot about. And so we all kind of came up with some lesser known options, and then I picked 4 of them randomly, and then we voted on those 4, and Sheep Farmer's Daughter won. So this will be my first patrons buddy read, and it's just going to be, it's super exciting to be able to read with these wonderful people who support my channel and what I do here. It's going to be super exciting. This is about a girl named Paxenarian, right? She goes by Pax, and so she has a short name, Pax, but that's cool because it's short for something, not like Pug and Kip. Like Pug isn't short for like pugnacious, and Kip's not short for, I don't know, Kipgenald? I don't know, Kippenand? It's not short for anything. So those are dumb, and that's why they're lame. This is short for something cooler, Paxenarian, and that's why it's acceptable. So she's a girl who wants to join the military, and so it's about a girl in the military, a sheep farmer's daughter who joins the military. It's military fantasy. I am excited to see what it's all about. I've literally heard no one talk about this book except for my good buddy Kevin, the Undying, who does not like the back half of the book or the rest of the series. But Kevin is very particular in his taste, so I like many things that Kevin does not like. So I'm really excited to read this with a group of great people and see what we think about it. You're gonna see that February is a month of reading things with other people, and that is the most true in the channel read-along that begins this month. Boosh, Feb Rising, and we're gonna read Red Rising by Pierce Brown as the first book. So if you were not aware already, we wanted to do a sci-fi read-along on my channel and in my Discord, and we voted for some sci-fi series, and the Red Rising series won. So starting this month, we're going to begin with Red Rising, and we're going to read 1 book a month until June, where we'll finish with Dark Age in June. And at the end of every month, we're going to have a live show, and we might possibly have some people on who have read the series and love it. I have 3 friends already who I know love the series that I'll probably end up asking to join us. But it's just going to be super exciting to have a channel read along. There's already people who have come into the channel and are excited to start it. So if you have not yet begun Red Rising and are looking for a reason to start it, or if you like stopped after the first one and needed some kind of a push or incentive to continue with the series, please come over to the Discord, come over to the channel and join us with our Feb Rising read along. So as I understand it, Red Rising is about a guy who is in the lowest in the caste system in the Reds, and the Reds are like, I guess, miners, and there's pit vipers, and they mine at low gravity. And the cast are genetically like divided by colors. Like there's the blue who are like the techno guys, and the golds who are like 100 feet tall and like, you know, are giants and can hold the sun in their hands or something. I don't know. The golds are superior and they look down on the other ones. And something happens, and our boy here, Darrow, goes on a quest for revenge. I have heard many, many, many mixed things about the first book, from people absolutely despising it to being like, you know, I almost DNF'd it, but I finished it. I have heard nothing but good things about the rest of the series, except for Abby, who hates it, but she is not a huge fan of the rest of the series either, and that's okay. But other than Abby, I've heard that many, many people like the series after the first one. I am really, really excited to finally kind of join the conversation on this one and see what I think. It's going to be fun to read some freaking sci-fi after not reading a whole lot of sci-fi last year. I think I just read kind of like one sci-fi book last year. So I am definitely pumped to start this and read along with all of you guys. So guys, if you want to join in Feb Rising, there is still time. Join us this month in the Discord. It's going to be a rollicking good space romp. For the next thing that I will be reading with a group of people, we have Boosh, the Iliad by Homer. More specifically, the Robert Fagles edition. So, I have the good fortune of being asked by my good buddy Andy over at his channel, Andy Smith, to be the co-host for the month of February for his year of short classics, where every month he reads a short classic. The Iliad is not short. He based that on the abridged version. Oh, you fool. But all the other ones are short, and every month he is going to have a co-host for a live show, and his server, where we're doing Feb Rising, his server is doing read-alongs for all of these. So, because the Iliad is my jam, I was asked to be the host for this one, and I could not be more excited, guys. I am so excited to read the Iliad in the Fagles text. I have done before a one-man show by Dennis O'Hare and Lisa Peterson called An Iliad, and that's just kind of one person's retelling of like the main thrust of the Trojan War about Achilles and Hector, and the kind of senselessness of war and the pointlessness of rage. And I really enjoy doing it, but the parts of that play where it actually quotes the text of the Iliad use the Fagles translation, and so I am so excited to read the Fagles translation in its entirety. The Fitzgerald translation is a really good prose one that most people have read in school, and there have been some kind of updated prose ones since then, but the poetry in Fagles's translation is just, I love it. I love it. From the opening lines, rage, goddess, sing the rage of Peleus' son Achilles, murderous, doomed, that cost the Achaeans countless losses, hurling down to the house of death so many sturdy souls, great fighters' souls, but made their bodies carrion, feast for the dogs and birds. It just flows, and you can hear that cadence every time, like you read it. I read some samples, and that cadence it's just there the whole time. And I am super excited to read this with a bunch of you guys. So guys, if you don't know, the Iliad is the story of the Trojan War. The Trojan War ran for 10 years. The Iliad really only covers like a very small amount of days, and it's 11 days in the 9th year of the war. It does not cover a long time at all. The Trojan War began because Achilles' mom and dad did not invite the goddess of discord to their wedding, and so she tosses an apple that says "to the fairest" into the middle to just cause chaos among the goddesses, and they all fight. And it comes down to like, there's like a choice between three. It's Athena and Hera. Athena, goddess of wisdom, Hera, the queen of the gods, and Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. And they say, hey, Zeus, you need to decide. And Zeus is like, I'm not touching that at all. And so Zeus goes to a strapping young lad named Paris, who is a Trojan prince, and says, hey, Paris, you decide between these three ladies, because I am not having them get mad at me. And so Paris, being a strapping young lad who is really into his looks, is like, I'll do it. And so he goes to the three goddesses, and Athena's like, hey, if you pick me, I will totes give you like an army, and you'll be like this incredible general, and you can conquer a whole bunch of stuff. And he's like, that sounds cool. And then Hera says, well, if you pick me, then I will give you your own kingdom, and you won't even need to conquer stuff. You'll just already be king of stuff. And he's like, that's pretty cool too. And then Aphrodite is like, hey, so if you pick me, I'll give you a hot chick. And Paris, being the worst, says, I'll totally take the hot chick. And so Aphrodite puts a spell on Helen, who is, the most beautiful woman in the world, and says, Paris, here you go. You can marry her. The problem is she's already married to the king of Sparta, Menelaus, and he's off doing something, fighting. That's what they do. And so he kidnaps Helen and takes her back to Troy. And then when Menelaus comes home, he finds that Helen is gone and has been kidnapped and taken to Troy. And he does he has the greatest overreaction in the history of mankind. And he gets his brother Agamemnon, who is the king of another Greek city-states, and them and all the Greeks, every single male Greek, hundreds of thousands of Greeks, they take them all over to Troy to get his lady back. An incredible overreaction. You are the king of Sparta, just find yourself another wife. This is ridiculous. And they fight for 10 years, and it just takes forever. And the Iliad is really about, at its core, it is about the struggle between Hector and Achilles, these two great fighters. And it's just so good. And I love it. I know a lot of people don't like epic poetry, but as I said, the Fagles translation is it's just fabulous. Andy, in his TBR, will have kind of like the abridged and super abridged versions that I kind of told him about, where you can eliminate some of the books that are kind of less central to the theme of the Iliad, or a lot of the books that are not, and just have like the central theme for people who don't want to read the whole thing. But it is just a great epic, really just the foundation of Greek society and the ancient Greek world. They believed in the Iliad. It was their history and their religion. It wasn't some story. It was what they believed, and all of the ancient Greeks wanted to be Achilles. Now, to be fair, I kind of root for the Trojans because Hector's my boy, and Achilles is a thug, but we'll see. I'm super excited to read it. Please make sure you check out his channel for that announcement and the live show at the end of the month for that as well. Next, and this is the longest book that I will be reading this month, and it is Boosh, Big Fat Ruin by John Gwynne. So this is book 3 in The Faithful and the Fallen. I am currently reading Valor. I will actually finish Valor today. By the time this is up, I will be done with Valor. I'm almost done with it. If you watched my review, you know I loved Malice. I really, really enjoyed it. I say it's Viking, but Viking is my catch-all for any Northmen wearing beards, like Celts and the Welsh and actual Vikings and Anglo-Saxons. They're all Vikings to me. But it's just this hardened, battle-hardened people. They're all wearing beards, and it is war. Guys, military fantasy. There is so much war in these freaking books, and Gwynne here plays with these tropes, so there's enough that's familiar, but it never seems kind of archetypal or staid, where it's oh, I know what's going to happen here. I have been surprised several times and angered and sad. A lot of things die in these books. There are so many characters, and one thing I like about books when there's a ton of characters, whenever there's a ton of characters, you know a bunch of them are going to die. And that's what happens. Because there's so many characters, so many people die, and you never know who it's going to be, and it's just really, really good. I have heard so many things about Ruin that as soon as I finish Ruin, I will immediately need to start Wrath. I have heard that so many times. I don't know what happens in Ruin, but I know it makes people sad. So I'm reading Ruin at the very last of the month, so that if that is true, I can finish Ruin and immediately jump into Wrath. I am really, really enjoying these series. If you didn't see the collab that I had with Petrick and the Professor Philip and Abby, it is over on Philip's channel. I will link that below. You should definitely go check that out. This month's collab about Valor will be on my channel, so look for that at the end of the month as well. Oh my gosh, so many collabs, so many live shows this month, guys. It's madness. And finally, the one book that I am reading on my own that I am guaranteed to read because I must needs finish it, Boosh, Book 4 of the Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abraham, The Price of Spring. So guys, my review is not up yet. It will be coming up this week. I finished reading book 3, An Autumn War, after 4 months of not reading the series, and I am so mad that I did not continue the series all that, 4 months ago. An Autumn War was so fantastic and so just different than anything else I've ever read. These books are Shakespearean in their sorrow. These are books about sorrow and grief and about real people trying their best, but these are flawed, individuals and flawed characters, and yet they are trying the best they can. And there is just so much sorrow. And the weight of these books, like there's not a lot of action, even in a book called An Autumn War. I did not think that authors could do the things that were done in An Autumn War. It was so amazing. And if I had read it last year, Long Price Quartet would absolutely have been in my top 10 series, and Abraham in my top 5 authors or top 10 authors. He is so, like, he's just so good. And I plan on reading everything that Abraham writes. I loved An Autumn War. And, oh my gosh, I have to know how it ends. And I just know it's going to have more sorrow and more grief. And I'm just going to be so depressed. And, it's so good. And there's a couple people in my Discord who are reading it. I think Kai and Jay are both reading it and enjoying it. Cold Blooded from the Discord, he just finished Shadow and Summer. I'm so glad more people are reading this. I've been talking to Patrick about it, who loves this series as well. I am so excited. I can't really talk about what it's about. It's after the events of Autumn War, obviously, and dealing with the fallout of the events that occur in that book. And from just the back of the book, I'm just like, no, please tell me that's not where it's going. No, come on, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. There are people trying to fix the things that happened in the last book, and it's just going to make it worse, and I know it. And I'm just going to be so freaking sad. But I am so excited to finish this book and see where this series actually sits in my top 10, and just see that this awesome conclusion to a series that I've never seen anything like it. It's just so good and so quiet and so intimate and personal. And again, it's so sad. It just makes me so sad to read these books, but they're so good. Please read Long Price Quartet. If you're a fan of political intrigue and you don't need a lot of action. A lot of people think it's slow because it is as for in terms of action, but there is a lot going on as far as like economic and political maneuvering. It's just fantastic. I've never seen anything like it. So good. So guys, that is my February TBR. I had 7 on my January TBR. I ain't getting 7 books in February. So I've got 6 of them, and hopefully I can get through all of these. Let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts are, if you're going to be reading any of these along with us. Let me know what you're excited to read in February. That's it for me, guys. Thanks, as always, for watching. Information about my Discord and Patreon, if you want to support what I do here, is down there in the description. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.